Hello everyone. Today is January 28th. Welcome to the Kubeflow Pipelines community meeting. This meeting is governed by the CNCF Code of Conduct. This meeting is being recorded and will be uploaded to the Kubeflow YouTube account after the call has ended. As you all can see, we don't really have any topics, so for today on the doc, so I'll leave it open. Like kind of open floor if anybody has anything they would like to share, or if anybody is new, please feel free to introduce yourself, or introduce yourself via chat. You don't have to unmute if you don't want. But yeah, I'll stop talking, and if anyone wants to share anything, floor is open.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Uh, this is actually my second call. I don't know if that's count as another call for another introduction. And for in case there's anyone here that wasn't on the call on my first day the call. Ahmed, actually from Nigeria. Um, I'm a DevOps and cloud computing practitioner.
Nice. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Anybody have any topics that they would like to share, or potential PRs that they wish to bring attention to us? I'll take the silence as a no. Uh, yeah, if anything, I guess feel free to ping in the Qflow Pipelines CNCF Slack channel. Um, I know a lot of us are kind of all over the place from the recent storm in the States, but yeah, uh, I
Yeah,
guess we
actually,
can
do have
start.
a quick question if you have
Oh,
time.
good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
we got plenty of time now.
it's fine, it's fine. I guess like my question is, so we have a couple of PRs to introduce this public config map to KFP, so it allows us in the future to integrate with SDK. I'm wondering if there are any concerns from Matt or you, Michael, with that um, solution, and I can add to the action items.
Uh,
Which solution? Uh, so remember, like Matt, I think we talked about this before around checking if control plane is available when user
Yeah.
creates pipelines client. Um,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, I from the call from the call that we had earlier on the SDK ML experience call, um, what you were talking with Antonin about, I think is a good first step in just first checking that it exists. I think the version matching is something that could come after, like actual
yep.
proper checking. Um, I guess is is it something that you would want to have like solely in the Kubeflow SDK, or have it like on a per module basis? Like, or would we have a version check for like pipelines, the
Yep.
SDK, and like all the different like trainer, like, or will there be like a version alignment for all of this?
Yeah, I feel like, like how KFP interact with the pipelines client is different, right? You don't really interact with the Kubernetes API, you interact with the KFP API server, which I guess like we in the future might need to think about, do we need any version compatibility? I know today KFP changes are fully backward compatible, which means you don't really care which version of the client user deploys or uses, right? It's going to be working right with the pipelines orchestration. Um, I think this is what we can discuss in the future. I guess initially the question is like if we deploy this public config map as part of the KFP control plane, uh, do you see any concerns with, with existing users who actually rely on the upstream manifest to deploy KFP? Um, I guess the answer is no, but what do you
Yeah.
think? Um,
I mean, if could it be possible to just because the manifest doesn't actually store anything related to versions, right? Like for specific SDK stuff. Like anything on the user client side, like right? The manifest doesn't contain any information
Actually,
related
this
to
is an
that.
interesting question. So how does users deploy KFP today? Because for other projects, it does contain like information, like version of, for example, type of the image in overlays.
Yeah.
Um, so do you know how KFP users control their versions they deploy uh, from the manifest? Because we don't have Helm charts today for KFP, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
wish oh go ahead, Matt.
yeah. I think it's usually from the Kubeflow manifests repo because we do have some docs that talk about how to deploy KFP standalone, but we don't like keep upgrade docs or anything like that up to date there. So I think most users are either have their own manifests or are using like a version from the Kubeflow manifest repo.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel like it's been a really kind of um I would say it's historical problem why we don't have it because I guess this is why the majority of folks deploy KFP from the manifest today because we don't have another option, right? Um, I wish we do have standalone manifest for KFP which supports multi-tenancy out of the box, um, but it looks like it's not something which you guys right now prioritize, right? Compared to other work you do.
Yeah, not really. I haven't heard a concrete ask for it. That would help
Hmm.
certainly.
Um, I feel like this config map is a very simple change, and since the Kubeflow manifest just copy paste your upstream customize overlays, uh, the folks who install KFP from the manifest they will still get this new config map, so they will be able to use um, pipelines client, right?
Yeah, I have no problems with this approach.
And do you know how users who run KFP in production deploy KFP today? Like which manifest they use?
I I think the most used one is like the multi-user one. Let me pull it up in the repo. Um, chat. I think that one. That's the one we pull into the Kubeflow manifest repo as well. At least that's the one we're treating as like the main way for multi-user. And then similarly, there's a platform agnostic that's not multi-user. Those are the two main ones that we test and we expect people to use.
Hmm. Yeah, because I guess like the problem is because they so my question is because you do release KFP, I guess every around 4 months. How how does your users get the latest KFP version if they deploy this from the manifest repo, not from KFP repo?
Um, I mean, yeah, I don't know the answer to it, but I think they're either just waiting for a Kubeflow release and then it bumps the images, the image tags there in the Kubeflow manifest repo, or they use the manifest directly after we cut a release. But I haven't actually heard much feedback around our manifests.
Yeah, I think internally here at Capital One, we've gone the route where the SRE team actually has a fork of those manifests themselves, so they'll pull in updates um, manually. But that's because with all the added effort that Alex and myself and others have been contributing, we've trying to stay more closely aligned with the pipeline's releases. So um, yeah, we just try to stay on top of them instead of waiting for a general Kubeflow release.
Yeah, because it's really problematic. For example, like the latest release was in May last year, and I think you did have like two more releases for KFP. Um, yeah, I feel like, like I think this is important from, from the adoption standpoint to do have stable Helm charts we offer, from the pipeline standpoint, right? Which users can just install. Um, but I guess this
Yeah.
work never gets finished, right? Yeah.
Well, I think we'd be interested in contributing Helm chart if that's the direction that the rest of Kubeflow is going. Um, we've definitely talked about it before, and it's something that we'd prefer to maintain rather than a bunch of customized manifests. Do you know what the direction is from the rest of Kubeflow on that?
Yeah, so I know, for example, Spark Operator wants to deprecate customized manifest. I also know there are some discussion Kubernetes 6, like, in job set, we do have this discussion, leader worker set, queue, do we really need to maintain customize and Helm charts? Um, uh, we can do the same for, trainer, for example. It's pretty simple for us to deprecate. I think the problem would be like the customers might, we might have still users who use customize. Like, do we really need to, um, serve them and give them a way to deploy? But it looks like for the majority of them, they might have their own fork, as Michael said. I kind of expect many users, they have the fork of the manifest and just they have their own way to update, right, versions. Um, However, like, like as I see more and more communities and actually enterprises going towards Helm charts in production, right? Fully like um, to deploy infrastructure. Um, so I guess like again like so from my perspective, if you guys all for it, I think this will be the good direction. Even like to support customize and Helm charts together, I think it would be good because we can have a Helm charts for KFP standalone, right? Um,
Yeah, I think we
yeah.
would want to maintain just one Helm chart that can do both. And as a transition period, you can just render the Helm charts as customized manifests, I guess.
Yep. And you don't need to maintain all those overlays, right? Like,
Right.
mhm. And I guess like you can maintain a multi-user mode by default, right? Or it depends. I think the problem with KFP, you do have some dependencies, right, on Istio and Dex, like on Istio first of all for multi-tenancy, correct, on the UI. Um,
Yeah, or a replacement for that, but yeah.
Okay, anyway, I guess like it's just, separate discussion. I guess like for this config map, we just need to make sure, like when we copy it to the manifest, it will be there and, people who deploy this from Kubeflow manifest will get this. So it should be fine.
Yeah, yeah. Sounds good.
Okay. Anyone else? Well, the floor's still open. Going once.
Yeah, so I think timeline for V1, I think we discussed last week, right? Last time, right? In terms of deprecation. Uh,
I think we did say we wanted to do a cut of another cut for V2 that Matt did. I can't recall if that would still have the V1 endpoints because I think V1's still in
Yeah,
it on master,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So I think we're planning on doing a 216 release right before we do the MLMD removal / replacement PR getting merged. So yeah, I think sometime mid-February, early March is probably reasonable.
Yeah, and then the release that would come for V3, which we're kind of aiming for like April, May, that would have the V1 endpoints removed. Um, was was your question on the timeline of it all, Andre?
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think we just need to probably announce it as part of this the platform release, right?
Yeah,
And it will be in KubeCon and it will be in March. So
yeah, yeah, for sure.
okay, that sounds good.
All right. There's nothing else. I guess we could just call it there.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Awesome.
Take care.